Welcome everybody. We're back for another episode of Dota's Life. We have a special guest today, Andrew Jenkins, aka Jenkins from Team Red. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you guys are doing some Dota podcasts. There aren't enough of these out there. Are there even any? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a few. My roommate in Space is the co-host here, which again he isn't here this episode, but we were listening to .p and that's pretty much it that I was listening to. But yeah, there's only a few, at least on iTunes, and so that was one of the things that brought us to start this podcast. We're like, man, there's no Dota podcasts out there. We spend all of our time listening to .p and whatever, and let's just do it. The market is wide open, so why not?
It definitely is. And we were talking before we started recording
Mm-hmm.
about Joe Rogan and these other podcasts that it's kind of blowing up. It's a big fad. I don't know why. I guess it's just interesting to just have people just have a conversation, just like a chill conversation. That's kind of one of the things. Like, I guess it's more natural than a lot of the things you see out there on mainstream media and even on YouTube and stuff like that. It's just kind of it's organic.
For sure. For sure. And I think a lot of people, at least, speaking for myself, I listen to podcasts when I'm driving to and from work or if I'm going on road trips or what have you. And it kind of seems like I know a lot of people that do the same, whether they're listening to podcasts or listening like audio books. I feel like not a lot of people, well, I can't say not a lot of people listen to music in the car anymore, but I think there's a growing number of people not listening to music and listening to stuff like this. So.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot less people listening to traditional radio, and more so people listening to audiobooks. I know my parents listen to comedy, they listen to stand up in the car, and they
Yeah?
just love it. And it's stand up that's made to be just audio, so it's very very descriptive when it comes to visuals and stuff like that, and they just love it. And they had one of their CDs in there, and I was listening to it. It's kind of lame, but I could see the appeal. I could see the appeal. They
Yeah,
were
for sure.
they were having a good time listening to some PG humor.
Yeah, so that's the point. We want people to listen to the show and enjoy the show, and I think there's a lot of podcasts that are kind of educational, so we try to bring a little bit to that, and that's one of the things that we have you on here for. I was telling you before the show that I really don't have the resume to tell some of these people to use certain items or not use certain items at certain points, and maybe you can have some insight on the show and help us out and give us some, professional advice.
Oh yeah,
No
dude, I'm
pun
down.
intended.
I'm down. I'm down to educate.
Yeah, for sure.
I
So,
play a lot of video games.
yeah. So, speaking of educating, you were a co-creator of Pugna, right?
I didn't co-create.
Okay.
However, I am a content creator on the site, and I'm not entirely sure what the statistics are, but I I think I get a decent amount of views on the site. I think I'm probably one of their bigger content creators, which I'm very very grateful for.
Yeah.
They're absolutely awesome. Bunch of people on that site, you know, check out my content, and it's almost all positive stuff, and there's like really cool discussion going on there. Like, I don't know, I'm super happy and grateful for that experience. But yeah, I wish I co-created that site. They're doing pretty well right now. So
Yeah, so before I start asking a question about that, for those of you that don't know what Pugna is, it's actually spelled Pvgna.com, right?
yeah, that's like my only criticism of the of this site, is that the name is a bit weird. I think it's like PVG, player versus game, NA,
Oh,
something like that.
okay.
I'm not 100% sure. Khan is his name is Khan. He's the dude who founded it. He's a really great guy. But I would assume he's a really smart dude. I would assume that there's some sort of acronym there, some sort of meaning. He does things with purpose. So
Yeah. Well, I just assumed it was because Pugna.com was taken, the domain. So it just
well,
changed the U to a V.
maybe, maybe.
So,
The thing is, I guess it's pretty easy to remember. It's a short word. It's kind of similar to something in Dota.
yeah, for sure.
Pretty easy to remember.
For sure. So you create content there. How did you get in with that? Like, were you just making videos and they come to you and ask, or how did that happen?
Okay, so it's a pretty strange history. So when I was part of Team Leviathan back in God, I don't know, 2014
Uh-huh.
maybe. I don't, maybe I'm getting my dates wrong, but we were living in a team house, and what we were doing in the team house was we weren't technically sponsored. We were just paying for the team house out of pocket, but we didn't
Mm-hmm.
actually have the money. So we were kind of looking for ways as professional players to make money on a level that wasn't a tier 1 level.
Yeah.
And Pugna was one of the sites that way back then originally contacted us to make guides, and I think that at that point they were doing written guides, or you would write up a guide and then they would record it. They essentially had some sort of different business model back then.
Hmm.
But I heard about them, and we looked into it, and I think we decided that it wasn't at the time, whatever their model wasn't for us as players. Like we wanted to. We wanted to coach. We wanted to do things like that. We didn't really want to do any written stuff, something
Yeah.
like that, way back then. But I started doing Game Leap when back just a couple of months, not a couple of months, but a couple of months after I graduated university, which was like 6 months ago.
Uh-huh.
And they're a bunch of really great guys too. But essentially, I heard from a teammate while I was at Game Leap about Pugna, and I essentially I heard about their model, and I heard that essentially the pay was higher.
Yeah.
So that was obviously for me. I was paying off student debt, so that was like
Yeah.
a pretty significant
Reason to trade.
reason for me. Yeah, yeah. And I told that to the Game Leap guys, and they were really cool with that. I was like, look, like I really like. I really like what both of these sites are doing. I really appreciate the fact that tier 2 players are able to pay for food on their table to, and there's actually demand for it. People actually want the information that exists within the brains of these players,
Mm-hmm.
and they were cool with it, and Pugna was cool with it, and I also like their model on the back end a little bit better. There's a lot more control in terms of the players having actual control of what their content is,
Yeah.
which I did like that, and I know a lot of people. Professional players that prefer not to have that control. They
Mm-hmm.
just want to kind of record it and they want to be done with it. And that's why I think that both of those websites could kind of exist, because they have different models. It's just that I currently prefer, for me personally, the Pugna model. So
Yeah.
it was just switching to them was just like a really. So I contacted them, and they were really excited about having me on board, and everything was cool. And yeah, so essentially I heard about it from a teammate, Monib. If you know him, he's a Smash player too now. He's getting
Okay.
into Smash. He's
Dude, I
the
love Smash. I love Smash, man.
apparently he's really good at it.
Really?
This dude that I played. Okay, he's like 7K in Dota, 7 to 8K, right?
Really?
Guys, Invoker player, Meepo player. Guy's insanely good. He played on team. I think we were team red at the point, but he played on my team for a couple of months, and he's also like top 50 in Canada. He's like top 10 in Ontario for Smash, and like
Really?
top 50 in Canada, something like that. Something pretty impressive. He plays Luigi too, so I don't know how he's top anything with Luigi, but I don't know. Yeah, anyway, he's the dude that told me about Pugna. Everything's been good, since then.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So you make your own videos completely? Like you do all the editing yourself and just upload
Yeah,
it to the website and YouTube as well?
yeah. Basically, I'm pretty sure that if you needed assistance, or if you didn't, if you they would as the like they have people to help you. They do have people. Pugna has people to help you, but for me, uh, I want the control, and they've seen the content that I produce, and they're cool with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the arrangement could be different depending on whatever you're comfortable with, pretty much. You know, so if you wanted to have them assist you with content or advise you or whatever, they got people for it to help you with that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
you make good videos. One of your
Thanks.
videos specifically that I've watched recently. So I'm a Pudge player. I play a lot of Pudge, and it's super easy in my tier. I mean, I'm 3,400 MMR right now, so I still have people that I played a game right before we started casting, and I was playing Pudge off lane, position 4. Well, I was gonna be position 4, but this Viper or this Abaddon just went to jungle for some reason, so I was getting a lot more farm and not roaming as much as I wanted to. But anyways, a Viper will just come up and just start attacking your tower and not moving. So I mean, it's not hard to just hook a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah.
I actually think Pudge is pretty good. I've been playing him in 7K games, and I've been going like 20-4 or something.
Really?
Like that. I've been playing pretty much strictly 4-role Pudge, though. I actually don't think offlane Pudge is good anymore, which is a really big shame because I'm an offlane player, and I would love for him to be an offlane hero.
Yeah, I was wanting to ask you about that. So you have been playing the position 4 Pudge?
I have been playing position 4 Pudge. But basically, the way it is in these 7K games is there's some idiots, man. Yeah. There's some people that if they are selecting offlane, like they're offlane only players, if they're selecting offlane and you select offlane first, and you pick your hero, they'll basically feed down mid, or they'll just take offlane and steal your last hits. Yes, in 7K games, and there's a large number of these people, and the awkward thing is, it's the same people. Like I could name them. I could. There's a list that's smaller than the amount of fingers that I have on my hands. Of these people.
Gosh.
Basically, there's like 50 people that play in these 7K games. Nobody else, because there's just so few people that are super high rated.
Exactly.
So it is awkward, but these people are just relentless, man. And with me, it's like, God, I want to win, so I'll play some 4-role Pudge, and then people can have offlane. But it sucks because I want to play offlane.
Right. But with Pudge, you really don't need that many items. So, buying a few wards, you're probably going to be buying smokes anyways. That's just the way I see it. I'm just like, whatever.
Basically, if I was going to take offlane from somebody, I would almost never take Pudge. I don't think it's good. Unless you're running some sort of dual lane, like Wisp Pudge or Omni Pudge, then you could potentially actually put on pressure. But, I don't know, he's kind of like a 1 armor super slow run at you damages himself hero.
Yeah.
Do you really want that in the offlane? He's gonna feed pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
Really.
Whenever I pick position for Pudge and my mid laner's like, Pudge, give me tangos. I'm like, dude, I have 4 tangos. I do damage myself. Like, here, have 1, but I can't fucking give you all my heal. You know?
Yeah.
What I mean?
I don't know, dude. If you're going like boots first, Pudge, and you have 4 tangos almost isn't enough, man.
It isn't.
Dude,
no,
somebody hits you once, dude, you just friggin' I think he has 1 armor now, actually. But basically you have 0 armor on Pudge. I think he has like 0.87 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it rounds up to 1.
Yeah.
But he basically has no armor at level 1. You're running around with boots, you get right-clicked once by somebody and you rot just for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're at 70% HP. That's
exactly.
like 2 tangos right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so oftentimes I'll buy just a branch. I'll buy 1 branch and then my 4 tangos, and just hopefully, depending on the game, I don't know if I'll go treads or if I'll go mana boots into ether lens. But what do you normally do?
On Pudge, so what I normally do is I go for just tranquil boots. I usually start with brown boots, tango, clarity, because eventually you're going to use it. And then a smoke. I always start with a smoke because pretty much in any game there's going to be a lane that you can kill at level 1. There's going to be supports that are zoning the offlaner, or there's going to be like a mid Shadow Fiend or something. And what I try to do is if I'm Pudge and there's a mid that I can gank, I'll block mid really hard, and then I'll smoke literally at level 1 and kill them at level 1, which is so annoying for the enemy mid. But sometimes there's no gankable lanes, and I'll just go farm. But still, eventually you'll probably use the smoke, even if you have to wait until level 6. Eventually,
do you just wrap around them with the smoke and then come up behind them and rot them?
Yeah. I come up behind. I try to make sure they're standing in the river to actually go on them. And it depends on who's mid too.
Yeah. If
you have like a mid, I don't know, what's a terrible level 1 hero? Like a mid invoker, and he's got like Sunstrike at level 1.
I was gonna say maybe if he had Cold Snap, maybe that would work. But yeah.
But then he right clicks for like 30 damage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Invoker's pretty good to gank for after he gets a couple levels, but you know, it does depend on the matchups. Pretty much, you can just get a play. You play enough Pudge, you get a feeling for, okay, this guy's fucking dead if I run at him.
Yeah,
You know?
for
But
sure.
sometimes there are just no lanes you can kill, and that's kind of where Pudge sucks. Is that there's just